Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
What's up, guys? I am back for another review. I'm not today. I'm going to be reviewing. I honestly do not know how to sit him, so I'm sorry. Because he's gonna be blocking me, like he's gonna be blocking my face if I sit him like this, and you guys can barely see my face. So, and my freaking nail just came off. One sec. Okay, we're good. I'm trying to situate him. Don't know how. Oh, this is a good spot. I'm gonna try to hold him up, and his overalls kind of sliding up, and gosh, he's just, oh, Chucky, get it together.
Get it together. Jeez.
So you guys, I am going to be reviewing episode 3 of this season. I am so excited to get into this review because this is my favorite episode
So far.
Before I get started, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Comment what you think, all that good stuff. This episode felt like a full circle kind of it really helped me understand episode 1 and 2. It really was like a full circle sort of episode for me because this entire episode takes place before the events of episode 1. So it's kind of a lead up sort of episode that's kind of like explaining really Chucky's plot. We really find out a lot about Chucky's plot and why he's in the White House and why he's killing these people in the White House. I mean, we find out so much, and I can't wait to get into it. There's so much juice. There's so much juice. We start off in this episode kind of where we left off the very last episode of season 2 when Chucky's about to kill Tiffany. Basically, we leave off there, and Tiffany gets arrested. I was right. I think I mentioned this in the previous video. Tiffany gets arrested. She does. They arrest her. And Caroline takes off with Chucky. There's just some great moments in this episode. I feel like this episode is just funny, dark, and light all in one thing. It's so many different things, and that's what I love. That's what I love about this episode. I pretty much can draw my own conclusion and say that Nika is the one that called the cops for Tiffany to get arrested, which I don't understand why when she told Tiffany that she was gonna torture her and kill her.
Tiffany, nothing has changed between us. I'm still going to torture and kill you.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Nika called the cops on her because when they arrest her and everything, Nika's outside, you know, kind of just watching her get arrested. And I'm assuming that she called the cops on her. I don't know. At any rate, she sees Caroline running off with Chucky, and Chucky kind of taunts her, and they go down like this subway stairway. I really love that moment because Nika couldn't go down there in that wheelchair. She would have and honestly, my heart was pounding on that part because I thought she was gonna like I thought that thing was gonna tumble and she was gonna tumble with it down them stairs. But then she hurried up and stopped, and you know, Chucky taunted her, was like,
can't really move in that wheelchair, can ya?
Oh, I feel so sorry for saying it like that. Yeah, no, she really wants Chucky dead. I mean, who doesn't? Like, everyone wants him dead. Her finding out that Chucky's still alive, I think that's also like just wow, like he's never gonna die. Like, honestly, he's just But in this episode, it's kind of hinting that maybe there is a way for him to die. I'm gonna get to that in a second. In this episode, we cut to Andy, right? This
Okay, Chucky.
There's a specific scene in this episode with Andy. Yes, Andy has returned. Alex Vincent's Andy has returned, which applaud. Yes, thank you. But this scene scared me so much. Chucky pays a little visit to Andy. He's got him tied up. Caroline's kind of just like off to the side with her little voodoo book and not doing anything about it. And Chucky's like about to kill him. And so he goes full on. He's killing Andy, right? He's killing Andy. And I kid you not, you guys. I thought this was real. Don Mancini, you are such.
You are so diabolical for that.
Let me just say, Don, he's a genius. He's an evil genius.
I thought it was so real. I thought it was so real. I thought it was actually happening. And I was on the verge of crying. Like, oh, tears were welling up, okay? I was so sad and scared.
But then I was saying in my head, like, this has got to be a dream. This has got to be a dream. There's no way Don would kill Andy. There's just no way. There's just no way. I kept saying that
Over and over and over and over and over and over again.
I kept covering like the screen. I was like, no.
No.
And guess who was dreaming of that? None other.
This little maniac.
He was dreaming of killing Andy. He was dreaming about killing Andy. And I remember seeing like the TV spot and the promo for this episode and seeing Andy tied up and they were like, oh, so Chucky kidnapped him again. That was a gut punch. But it was also just the amount of relief that came over me when I found out it was just his dream. It was just Chucky dreaming of killing Andy. Like that was the whole, that dream sequence was so cleverly done. Oh my gosh. Kudos to Don for that, because that was a great idea. That was amazing. We can all relax because it was just a dream and he really didn't kill him, because if he did, I don't think I would be continuing to watch the series. And that's just me being like so honest, because I don't see myself watching the series and finding out that Andy is killed by Chucky. And even the way that he was stabbing him so much. He was stabbing him so much in this dream, you guys. Like he just didn't stop. Like it was
horrible. He was stabbing him in the face.
Like, no.
No.
Again, so well done. I didn't love it this scene, but I think I came to appreciate it after being like scared half to death. It kind of fades into Chucky, who he was sleeping. And by the way, he's like sleeping in this hotel with Caroline. He finds that his hair is shedding.
Uh-oh. I'm thinking breakage.
Are you becoming human? And he's like,
what the F?
And he's like touching his skin. It's feeling like all soft, too soft and all this. I'm like, okay, yeah, so he's becoming human in the doll. I didn't know until he opens up the Voodoo for Dummies book and he's kind of just like trying to see what's going on. Like, why is my hair shedding? You know, why is my face like? So he turns to a page where it's talking about like age. I do like that they've been having fun with the whole voodoo aspect of like Voodoo for Dummies and everything. They're still mentioning it and they're still like, Chucky's still very much into it. There's a page that he turns to and it basically talks about him aging in the doll. And so this is where it gets really, 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 really interesting and really juicy. He discovers that he's growing old in this doll, which to me was such an interesting concept. And it's really great that they're going down this road, because if you think about it, Chucky has always been trying to avoid death, even when he was human. That's why he found voodoo in the first place, to find a way to escape death. He didn't want to die the natural way. Obviously, he didn't want to grow old and die. You really see in this episode how insecure he is about aging, about getting old. He doesn't want to get old. Chucky here wants to remain young forever. You live and then you die. You grow old and die. So he didn't want that at all. So he wants to be immortal. If you guys watch the previous Chucky movies, you would see that Chucky has never aged in the doll prior to this episode. The moment that he died in Child's Play, and I actually took the liberty of looking this up for myself, Chucky dies at age 31 in that toy store. He dies at a fairly young age, not too old, not too young, well, not super young, not super old, kind of like in the middle. So he was middle-aged, you know. When he transferred his soul into the doll, he never aged. He just remained 31 for 40 years straight up to now. So what causes him to start aging within this doll is the events of season 2. And what happens in season 2 is there's a little exorcism. You guys remember that exorcism episode? That ended up affecting the voodoo-ness within his soul, I guess, that's like attached to this doll and just what he's been practicing for 40 years straight. And so this is also explained in this episode through like a sort of like a doctor-patient thing going on. Chucky being the patient and the doctor being
the doctor.
Not like a witch doctor or anything. This doctor is just like a regular doctor. So I don't know if this scene was kind of just making fun of the fact that like at this point it's completely normal that Chucky's just talking in public and like everybody's completely okay with it. Chucky and Caroline are waiting out in this lobby in this hospital, and the nurse calls Chucky's name, like his full name, Charles Lee Ray. I'm like, wait, what? Why is everyone so like, I mean, obviously not everyone knows who Charles Lee Ray is in this universe, but like the fact he gets up and runs into like, you know, to get checked, like he's getting a checkup, like you're going to the doctor to get a physical or something. That's what it felt like. It's campy. In a way it works. Like we think like, wait, but how is that even okay? Then we just go along with it. People who aren't Chucky fans, who don't know much of the lore of Chucky, they look at Chucky as this demon, like he's an actual entity, you know, but he's not. He's a guy who killed people when he was alive and died and then put his soul in a doll. That's what, I mean, now what he was dabbling into, like the voodoo aspect of things, it was very dark. So I guess that is kind of like playing into the whole demonic aspect of him and just him killing people. Okay, I can see why they would call him a demon doll, but he's not a real demon, you guys. He's not, he's a person. He was a person who was just very, very dark and evil, acting and like to kill people. They do play around the demonic aspect of him and everything, but like I do like that they kept the fact that Chucky is Charles Lee Ray. You know, who have not seen Child's Play, a lot of people can get confused like, okay, so like he's just a demonic doll. No. But anyway, this entire scene with this doctor kind of trying to help Chucky figure out what's going on with him, why is he aging in the doll? And so like that's when it's really talked about, like, oh, season 2, he's been involved in exorcism and they call it Christian magic. And I was like, what is going on here? What is going on? Christian magic? That's not even a thing. When they did that exorcism on Chucky, it affected him. It affected the magic that he was already practicing and that he's pretty much like attached himself to for years. And it pretty much made Damballa abandon Chucky because an exorcism was done on him. So like the exorcism was like a cleaning.
Christian magic, that's what they're referring this to with the exorcism thing.
It is battling against Damballa, who is this powerful evil force. At some point, the good sucked or shooed the bad away. To my understanding, I think that's pretty much what is going on with him. Now, the advice that this doctor gives him is to make sacrifices, to kill 6 random people within an evil location. The first place that Chucky and Caroline travels to do this is the Amityville house, which I thought was so like, oh my gosh, there's so many horror references made in this episode. You know, Chucky even mentions Elm Street, you know, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. But within the Amityville house, you know, they travel there. The way that Caroline gets in the house,
she acts like this innocent little girl, like, I can't play my Bobby. Clever, but evil. Evil. You
know, Chucky pretty much slaughters everybody in this house. And that, I have to say, I do love that scene. I love how sinister, but also very, like, bizarre that scene looked, where you go into the, like, you hear it happening, you hear Chucky killing everybody, but they don't show it, but they show the aftermath of it. They, you know, you see all these dead bodies and blood just everywhere. Like, how could he have possibly murdered every single person? I just don't understand.
There was a lot of people in that room.
Obviously, Caroline just sitting there watching the whole thing. She's like, you know, I'm just here to watch. And, you know, she even said that herself. Caroline's kind of just along for the ride, helping Chucky with whatever he needs. And it's like, you know, Chucky and Caroline are developing this sort of like friendship, this bond. I know I should not root for this, but it's kind of cute. Because they have this little moment that's kind of sentimental, like Chucky is actually kind of getting attached. I mean, I'm not sure though. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up, because we all know Chucky. We all know him as a character and how he is. But like, really all he wants is a friend. Someone who's not going to betray him, because we all have witnessed people who have been close to him that have betrayed him. And I'm not saying this to like justify for like his wrongdoing. I'm not saying this to like be on his side, but I'm getting a better understanding of his character and how he works, how he wants like someone who's going to help him and support him and not betray him. Something tells me Caroline will not betray Chucky. She would never want to betray Chucky. I thought it was cute, but it's also not cute because this is a killer who's influencing this little girl and we don't know how that's gonna turn out. But you can just tell from Caroline's perspective how much like she really cares about Chucky, and she really like believes he is her best friend. And she enjoys his company. It's still wrong because he's like killing people and everything in front of her, and you know, but she's like completely okay with it. It's like he kills all these people in the Amityville house, thinking something's gonna happen. It's gonna activate a spell for him to basically beg for Damballa to come back to him. It's really Damballa. Without Damballa, Chucky is nothing. Chucky would die. I feel like Damballa is just what he's been relying on and what he's been depending on to keep him alive. I feel like this episode just revealed a way to kill Chucky. Is basically to take Damballa and any means of resources to reach Damballa, this voodoo god, like to just separate him from this thing. And there's a chance that Chucky can really die for good and not come back. I think that is so clever, the way that they showed that, how Chucky can really just wither away, and he's literally withering away in this doll. Like he's getting all wrinkly in the hands and his face. He's aging, like he's actually growing old. Like he's gonna look like an old man in the doll. Like, I mean, he's already old enough. Like he's been living for years. He's been living for like longer than he should be. Like he should be dead. I feel like if Chucky had never died in that toy store, and I feel like if he was still living as a human being, he'd be probably like in his 60s, 70s maybe. I think 60s, yeah. He'd be pretty old. I feel like that is a huge stepping stone into continuing this series in a more interesting way, and really just finally getting a good grip on Chucky and how he can really die. I think that is a good way that Don Mancini decided to go. Throughout this episode, it was just really fun to watch how Caroline and Chucky interact. First, Caroline was just his little frog in the jar, which
she still is.
She'll do whatever he tells her. They have this, I can't really tell anymore if it's a manipulation thing anymore, because Caroline is willingly doing this for Chucky. It feels like manipulation a little bit, because I do remember in a specific scene in the hotel where Chucky, you know, it said he flips through the voodoo book, and it says, well, if aging starts to happen within the doll, it basically says vacate the vessel, and so he vacate his body, which basically means vacate his body, the doll's body. And so he looks over at Caroline, he's like,
should I? Yeah, I should.
He was very much about to transfer his soul into, I was about to say Alice.
Yes, I mentioned Alice.
Caroline reminds me of Alice, which is Nika's niece, okay, who died previously. Right in the middle of him trying to possess her, she wakes up because, you know, she's sleeping as he's trying to do it. But she wakes up and he's like, oh.
Hey, I was just checking on you. How you doing?
You know, trying to cover up what was really trying to do. If something happens to Caroline, this could upset Chucky because he needs her on his side. Or if someone dies within the trio, if it's not Devin, it might be Lexi. And if Lexi dies, I wonder how Caroline will react. I wonder if Caroline would have a problem with Chucky killing Lexi. I don't know. I think that if she does have a problem with that, I think that's going to affect Chucky and Caroline's little bond or friendship that they got going on, because it looks like Chucky genuinely cares about Caroline. I think he sees Caroline as a little protege, like a little daughter. One thing about Chucky I've noticed, like throughout this franchise, it feels like he just wants someone who gets him, who understands him. And I think with Caroline, he sees that this girl is different and she's kind of off, she's a little creepy, and that's right up his alley. And so like he connects with her. He sees that she's not like others, and she's kind of like, she's off, kind of like how he is. Let's talk about Tiffany, okay? Tiffany's put on trial, and obviously, again, I'm saying that this episode takes place before episode 1, so this is leading up to episode 1. This is a lead up sort of episode. Everyone came, you know, Miss Fairchild was there, you know, before she died. Obviously, Nika was there, you know, she definitely wanted to see her pleaded guilty and all this. And rightfully so, she's guilty, and she is going to prison. She did try to evade that by acting like she was, by telling the truth, really. She really came out, she reveals her identity in trial, which I thought was such a clever way for her to basically seem like she was insane, so that everyone will look at her like she's insane. She is crazy, but like she's telling the truth about who she really is. She says, I am Tiffany Valentine, I'm just possessing Jennifer Tilly's body. She's on the stand telling everybody in that courtroom what happened to her. She talks about Chucky, and she just pretty much spills all the beans, all the tea. It's great. I love that scene so much. She was so funny. Oh my gosh, Jennifer Tilly is so amazing. Oh, every time she's on screen. One thing that got me is just how she's dressed in this courtroom. Like she's dressed like she's going to a club, or she's going to like a fashionable party or something. Like she's dressed like that in the courtroom. I just found it so hilarious. Like
Tiffany said, I will forever look fabulous. I don't care where I am.
she's always overdressed no matter where she is. She still looks good. Like only Tiffany. She's like the only one that stood out in that courtroom, which I loved. It really accentuates her character. It makes her kind of like the center of attention. Jennifer Tilly does such a good job playing Tiffany, and I loved her presence in this episode. I loved how Fiona Dorff played Nika in this episode. I feel like Fiona Dorff is really like playing into the anger that Nika feels after everything Tiffany has put her through, what Chucky has put her through. Nika has no mercy whatsoever for Chucky or Tiffany. Like she has no remorse, no mercy for any of them, as she should. Tiffany is definitely going to prison, and even though she tried to get out of it, she couldn't get out of it. So I wonder how that's gonna go. I'm very curious to see where Tiffany is going to end up. I don't know if she's gonna stay in prison. I don't know if she's gonna end up escaping. That would be fun to see if she escaped, because I don't think she's gonna stay in prison. She's gonna get out somehow. I don't know. I am curious to see like where her storyline is gonna go. I'm curious to see where Nika's storyline is gonna go. I love this episode so much, you guys. The way it ended was just pretty much leading into how Chucky got to the White House. And when he killed those people in the Amityville home, it didn't work. The sacrificial thing didn't work. So the trick is him finding an evil place, like a place where many deaths has happened in a house, where like the wall, like just the very walls are just evil. So like he went to the White House. So that's pretty much why he went to the White House, because lots of shady, undergroundy, crazy things happen in the White House. I mean, that's pretty much what it's referenced as in this season. So that's pretty much why Chucky has chosen the White House to go to kill, to pretty much activate a new spell to get Damballa to come back to him so that he can be forever young. My mind just exploded, you guys. I just literally said that without any sort of preconceived thought about what the season is supposed to be about. That's literally what the season is supposed to be about. And I read something prior to even watching these episodes on Twitter and like social media. They were talking about the season supposed to be about like the surrounding concept of the season is forever young. And I think that's what Dom Mancini said in like a couple of tweets or whatever. But now I understand, like Chucky just wants to be forever young. He doesn't want to grow old. And I just found it so funny how he's actually insecure about it. And he's like asking Caroline, like,
do I look really bad? Is it noticeable? Be honest.
Like, I just thought it was so cute.
I shouldn't think that. I don't know. I'm crazy.
Also, you guys, I forgot to mention, there's another kill. There's another kill in this episode that I thought was completely bizarre, and it's when Chucky kills Kenan Thompson's character, the taxi driver. If you know, you know. It involves
an umbrella?
Yeah, that kill was something else. And I honestly was like, my my jaw was completely on the floor after watching that scene. I feel like that kill was by far the most craziest kill ever. And Chucky's had a lot of crazy kills, but that one, that's just not even physically possible. The fact that he could have done that to a person is just so wild. Like, not even a real person could do that to a person, could they? He stuck a whole freaking umbrella down his throat and opened it. Like, what is actually wrong with you? That's all I wanted to come over here and say, because I realized I didn't say that in the video. It's just an add-on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. This video is coming to an end, and I think that's pretty much all I have to cover for this episode. So if you guys like this video and you guys want to see my very last review this year for the 4th episode of this first part of this season, I will be doing a review on that as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching my videos, these reviews so far. I'm sorry it took so long for these to come out. I apologize, but Chucky is here and we are both happy and he is very happy about his show. I'm ecstatic as well. Be sure to like, subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment what you think, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.